What if the most dangerous spy in America was not someone sneaking through shadows, not a stranger with fake passports, but a woman who sat quietly inside one of the country's most secret buildings? Every morning, she walked into the Defense Intelligence Agency, the DIA, a place where some of the nation's deepest secrets are studied. She carried her coffee, smiled at her co-workers, and sat down at her desk like everyone else. People respected her. She was smart, calm, focused, trusted. But at night, Ana Belén Montes had another life. Behind the closed doors, she was writing secret reports, not for her bosses in Washington, but for the Cuban government. She was not after money. She was not being blackmailed. She believed she was doing the right thing. And for nearly 17 years, nobody could stop her. They called her the Queen of Cuba, not in Havana, but in Washington, because Ana Montes became America's top expert on Cuba, all while secretly serving Havana. She betrayed names of US agents. She revealed classified military plans. She exposed how America watched and listened to Cuba, and yet she kept her job, her reputation, and her secret. Her betrayal is considered one of the most damaging cases of espionage in US history. Officials say the information she gave away helped Cuba, and by extension, also countries like Russia and even China. And here's the twist. She was finally arrested only 10 days after 9/11, at the very moment the US needed every trusted analyst. This is the story of Ana Montes, a woman who lived a double life, a spy not for money, not for revenge, but for belief, a story of ideology, deception, and betrayal at the highest level. This is Denzel speaking. Welcome to the world of Intrigue. Do not forget to subscribe in the channel and hit the like button if you're looking for more secrets to get revealed. Ana Belén Montes was born on Feb 28, 1987, in a Puerto Rican family living in the United States. Her father was an army doctor, a psychiatrist who treated soldiers. From the outside, Anna's life looked very ordinary. She was smart, disciplined, and serious, even as a young girl. Her parents pushed education, and Anna followed that path. In the late 1970s and early 80s, Anna studied at Johns Hopkins University School of Advanced International Studies, a place that trained future diplomats and analysts. It was here that her ideas about the world started to harden, and she did not like US foreign policy, especially in Latin America. The US was supporting wars in places like Nicaragua and El Salvador, and Anna thought this was cruel and unfair. In 1984, while working at the Justice Department in Washington, something happened that would change her life. A colleague introduced her to a man who was connected to Cuban intelligence. He asked her for a small favor. Could she translate some Spanish news articles about US actions in Central America? For Anna, this was not about money. It was about her beliefs. She saw Cuba as a small country standing up against a giant, and she thought America was the bully, and she agreed to help. That simple favor opened a door. Soon after, Cuban intelligence officially recruited her. She was trained in basic spycraft, how to pass messages secretly, how to receive coded instructions instead of payments. She accepted only small reimbursements for her expenses because she wanted to keep her motivation pure, and she told herself she wasn't betraying her country for profit, but to serve a higher moral cause. Anna was a perfect recruit, intelligent, quiet, and deeply ideological. She did not need a blackmail. She did not need bribes. She believed. And just 1 year later, in 1985, Anna took her first real step inside the American intelligence world. She joined the Defense Intelligence Agency, the DIA, and walked into a job that gave her direct access to exactly the secrets Havana wanted most. In 1985, Ana Montes walked into the Defense Intelligence Agency, the DIA. It was her first day in the building, where she would spend the next 16 years there. To her bosses, she was just another young analyst. But to Cuba, she was already an asset, already their spy. Ana's official job was to study Cuba, its military, its intelligence services, its politics. Ironically, she was perfect for her secret life. The very reports she wrote for the US government were the same things Cuba most wanted to know. But she was careful. She never stuffed papers into her purse. She never tried to sneak documents out of rooms. Instead, she memorized details, sometimes entire pages. Later at home, she would write them down in her own laptop. She transferred data onto encrypted disks. Cuba communicated with her in creative ways. One method was shortwave radio. From Havana, Cuba intelligence broadcasted numbers in Spanish, long lists like 5921. To most people, they were meaningless. To Ana, with the right code, they were her instructions. At work, Ana built a reputation. She was serious, quiet, and brilliant. Co-workers began calling her the Queen of Cuba because her reports were so detailed. No one imagined that this title was more true than they realized. She was serving Cuba more faithfully than the United States, and for Ana, the job was perfect cover. The more she rose inside DIA, the more valuable she became to Havana. Over 16 years, Ana Montes gave Cuba some of the most sensitive secrets the United States had. The damage was enormous. She gave away the names of at least 4 uncover U.S. intelligence officers operating in Cuba. Those agents' lives and missions were put at risk. She revealed how the U.S. was watching Cuba, the satellites, the listening devices, the methods. Once Cuba knew, they could hide things or feed disinformation. She passed on U.S. military plans and assessments. For example, if the U.S. ever planned an operation against Cuba, Havana already knew what Washington knew. Officials later said she compromised everything. She wasn't a spy who stole a single big secret. She was worse. She gave Cuba a steady stream of information for almost 2 decades. And there's another twist. By 2001, right after the September 11 attacks, Ana was about to reassigned. Her new job would have given her access to intelligence on Afghanistan and the US war on terror. If she hadn't been caught, she might have passed on US war plans against Al Qaeda and the Taliban, information that could have leaked not just to Cuba, but to other hostile nations. For years, Ana seemed untouchable, but in 1996, one DIA officer, his name is Scott Kramical, grew suspicious. Something about her did not fit. She seemed too extreme in her views on Cuba, too defensive when policy was discussed. He raised alarms. At first, nothing happened. She passed a security interview, but the FBI did not forget. They began watching quietly. They checked her travel. They studied her phone calls. They looked into her purchases, like a laptop and radio that matched spy tradecraft. Step by step, the picture grew darker. Then came September 2001. With the 9/11 attacks, Ana was about to move into an even more sensitive role. Investigators realized if they waited any longer, the damage could be catastrophic. On September 21, 2001, just 10 days after 9/11, FBI agents walked into DIA headquarters in the middle of an ordinary workday. They arrested Ana Montes at her desk, and her double life was finally over. In 2002, Ana Montes stood before a judge. She did not fight. She pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit espionage. This plea deal saved her from the death penalty. The court sentenced her to 25 years in prison and 5 years of supervised release after that. In her statement, Anna did not apologize. She defended her actions, and she said US policy toward Cuba was cruel and unfair, profoundly unneighborly. She said she felt morally obligated to act. She never took money, only small reimbursements, and for Anna, this was about consciousness, not profit. Ana Montes spent more than 20 years in federal prison in Texas. She lived a quiet life behind bars, away from the headline. On January 7th, 2023, she was released early for good behavior. At age 65, she returned to Puerto Rico. She told reporters she wanted to live quietly and focus on private life. Ana Montes is remembered as one of the most damaging spies in US history. But her story is not simple. She was not greedy, she was not blackmailed, she was convinced she was right. And her case shows how dangerous ideology can be. A person with strong beliefs can be harder to catch than someone who spies for money. It also shows the limits of security systems. Montes was investigated in 1996 but continued spying until 2001. Small warnings were missed, and the prize was years of leaked secrets. Finally, her case leaves more questions. Was she a traitor? Or was she, as she believed, a moral voice against US policy? For many Americans, the answer is clear. She betrayed her country. And for Anna, the answer was just as clear. She was following her consciousness. And that is what and why her story still matters. Ana Montes lived two lives, one as the respected Queen of Cuba inside Washington intelligence world, and one as a secret agent for Havana. And for nearly 2 decades, she fooled everyone until the moment her cover collapsed. Her story is a warning that sometimes the most dangerous spies are not outsiders. They are insiders, colleagues, neighbors, people who trust. All they can do the most damage of all. And here's the question for everyone. Do you think Ana Montes was a traitor who sold her country, or a woman who stood by her beliefs, even if it meant betraying the United States? I'm waiting for your comments in the comment section, and see you at another episode.